Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on the Flash film or movie, whichever way you want to put it. So we're getting closer and closer to the Flash movie finally hitting screens after what feels like a lifetime, like Jesus Christ, so long. And due to this, there is a decent flow of various promotional material that is being released to be used on various outlets and things like the NBA playoffs, for example. I saw it on there the other day, and also just over social media outlets and internet spaces throughout, the internet. Now, the only downside with all of this is in order to contain spoilers, is that most of it just sort of looks the same for the most part, like mostly the same footage, maybe some alternate shots or things like that. But what we'll go over in today's video is the stuff that does differ quite a bit from the main two trailers and the main TV spots that we have gotten since the start of the, promotional campaign for the film. The stuff that's actually worth talking about that, some of you guys might have missed. But of course, in the comments section, be sure to let me know what piques your interest the most about either the movie from the promo stuff we'll go over in this video, or even some other stuff that's been released that we might not go over. Always curious to hear what you guys are thinking and just what you're looking forward to most from this highly anticipated film. So the first thing to go over before we go over the new footage from trailers is just some new posters / banners and stuff that's been released, just because some of you guys might not have seen it, and it gives you a better, more high definition look at some certain things. So the first thing is actually the new banner that's being used on all the various like social media places like Facebook, Twitter, everything like that. So you can see the banner here features all of the main characters are going to be hanging out within this film. Of course, you got the young Barry on the left, Supergirl, I guess to his right, then Batman all the way on the far right, and then front and center you got our main original OG Barry, whichever way you want to put it. The main Flash. The Flash. We'll say that. The Flash. But yeah, I think this is a new shot of the Flash, or maybe it's just a zoomed in version of something we've got before, I'm not too sure. But all the other shots of the characters we've seen previously, they're just, placed differently. So yeah, nothing overly new here, just a different design, but thought it's worth showing. And then we actually did get some original posters for each individual main character except the young Barry. I don't think they released one for the young Barry. If they did, let me know, but I don't think they did, at least from what I can tell. So the first one here you can see is the Flash in the middle of that big war zone that we see in the trailers between the, I guess our heroes and the Kryptonian army and Zod. So yeah, pretty cool one, just him in a certain pose and everything like that. Once again, the suit, we'll go over something else with the suit in a second, that was revealed at another like Comic-Con sort of thing. But the suit seems to be such a big point of discussion and conjecture. And for me, I like 90% of the suit. And on some angles, I like 100% of the suit. This is an example of me liking 100% of the suit. It's just the cowl on certain angles. I've said this before, but the cowl on certain angles just looks a bit odd. But you can see like the wings, like the ear tips go all the way back. It looks actually really, really good. Sort of looks like, I think the Injustice suit from one of the two games, maybe both games, sort of looks like that. But yeah, I like the suit here. The lines are a bit, I don't like the lines too much, like the glowy yellow lines. There's too much of that in my opinion. But the rest of it, I think looks really good, at least for like a movie quality. You're getting a lot of money to spend to make it. So, I'm a fan of it for like 90% of it, like all the time, and then 100% some of the time as well. Just the cow's a bit dodgy sometimes. But yeah, anyway, out of my personal opinions, the next one we have is actually Supergirl on top of Wayne Manor. We've seen, I think this was in the second trailer, her in the suit floating up from it. So this is just sort of a take on that. So yeah, this seems to be the place where maybe she fully regenerates her powers, and that's where she floats off from for like in her suit for the first time, is off Wayne Manor. At least that's what the trailers and then this poster is sort of giving off. And then the final poster here is of Batman, for some reason stroking that pose in the Batcave in front of the iconic just the Michael Keaton Batmobile, which I'm very excited to see be driven in this film. I don't think it's been in any of the trailers, unless I'm mistaken, but like obviously the Batmobile's been in the trailers, but them driving through Gotham in it, I don't think it's been like that. I don't think we've seen it. Maybe they want to save that moment for the actual movie. So we know that they do that because it was in concept art that like the two Barrys and Batman, I think even Supergirl are in the Batmobile. So I'm very excited to see that scene if it is in the movie. And I'd assume it would. You wouldn't tease the Batmobile like this and then not put it in the film. Come on. But the next thing to go over before we jump into the trailer footage is just a quick new look once again at the suit here. Now this is at, I think it was Japan Comic-Con or some sort of Comic-Con. I think it was in Japan though. And these are going to be the statues of like the life size of the Flash and Batman that are going to be put in cinemas throughout the world. So this was in Japan, I'm pretty sure. So a lot of people thought it might just be in America they do it, because America seems a lot of time to be the only thing that gets anything in regards to this type of stuff in theaters. But yeah, these are going to be in cinemas across the world. I don't know if it's going to be down here in Australia. Hopefully, might take a photo with one. But yeah, they're going to be life size, and yeah, you can get a better look at the suit, especially the Flash suit, because it's, you know, newer, if you know what I mean. So yeah, there's a new look at it. But now let's get into this new trailer footage. So I'm not going to play the actual trailers in full, but I might show some like slowed down clips on screen just to try and avoid copyright, just because it's, you know, YouTube's been insane for it over the past like couple of months. But yeah, the first shot is the only thing we will talk about from something other than the Japan trailer that was released. So there's most of the stuff we're talking about in this video from this point forward is some stuff from a Japanese trailer, but there's one new thing which we'll talk about now, which is the only thing that's not from the Japan trailer. Hopefully that makes sense. And I think this was from I think it was a Portuguese TV spot, or at least the trailer has Portuguese subtitles and text on screen. So it could have been for Brazil, not too sure, but at least it was in Portuguese, I'm pretty sure. Now that is this shot of Barry being ejected from the Speed Force. Now I say ejected because he just ran out of it, right? He wouldn't just throw himself out like that. I mean, if he was coming out of the Speed Force, he would just run out of it, or this time stream, whichever way you want to put it. He would just run out of it. He wouldn't get out, like roll out like this. It looks like he's been like thrown out or spat out of it. So I'm very intrigued to see what happens here. And just, it appears to be towards the beginning of the film as well, because I don't know why this would happen later on, unless this is him returning to his main timeline. So either could be towards the beginning or maybe right at the end. So I don't know, but I'd assume it's maybe him being spat out into the, you know, Flashpoint timeline, if you want to call it, even though, are we calling it the Flashpoint timeline? I'm going to call it the Flashpoint timeline. So yeah. But now let's get into this stuff from this Japanese trailer and just have some theories about it, or at least a discussion around it. So the first thing is something I was wondering if we're going to get in the film, and I'm actually pretty happy that we are. And that is the Flash being known and just popular to citizens of Central City. And we probably, you know, they probably see him running a lot through the city, or at least see him, like, or maybe feel him breezing by like a streak of lightning and the wind going, everything. But they might not necessarily see him too much, if at all. But maybe like a standing still sight like this is very, very rare. So to see like the citizens and just some like teenagers, or, you know, whatever they are, just react like this, I thought was pretty fun. Just the interactions between the Flash and them, I thought was pretty nice. Now we do see Barry in I think it's a cafe or something like that. It's like some sort of shop before this. So this could be a scene where we see the Flash ring in use for the first time in the film. I don't think any of the trailers have shown like the Flash ring in use. Like we saw it opening up in the first trailer from the Super Bowl, but we haven't seen it like shoot out and then the Flash run into it or anything like that. So I'm very, very excited to see how the suit attaches itself to Barry's body. I'd assume it's like the comics, and also like what we saw on the TV show, where he just sort of like runs into it, and as if he's just getting it on, it just expands out of the ring. But it's just the material of the suit that makes you wonder if it's some other type of thing like nanotech, and it materializes on his suit or something along those lines. But I think it's going to be a classic thing. I don't think they'd change it too much. I think it'll be a pretty classic, you know, the suit shoots out, he gets into it, and maybe the cowl, because the cowl's all plasticky, so maybe that's nanotech. Once again, somewhat similar to the show, but we'll wait and see. Now we do get like the Flash's prep, I guess you could say, or preparation before running, which is him like sort of like zoning in and getting a bit zen, if you want to put it. Now, what has been said, I think Andy Muschietti said this, I think it was actually at Fandom. It might have been at Fandom, like what, 2 years ago or something like that. And he said that Ezra had an influence on how the Flash's movement was done, which I think was the same with the Justice League films, but Andy Muschietti like reiterated that's going to be the case on the Flash film as well. So I'd assume this is very Ezra, if you want to put like the poses, almost like a swan sort of leg thing or flamingo thing. So I'd assume that's what's going on there, but at least for this interpretation of Barry, or at least what Ezra is doing, it sort of fits. And we do get another shot of the suit in like at like the hospital destruction scene, if you want to call it, that most of the trailers have shown. I think this is at the beginning of the movie, by the way. I think this is meant to be like, maybe not the opening scene, but a part of that opening period of the film before he does the whole Flashpoint running back in time thing. So yeah, I'm excited to see what this looks like. And there are a couple more running scenes and like slow ones with him, like actually seeing his feet running on the ground and him looking to be running through the Speed Force or something like that, or running through time. But he looks to be in pain when he's doing that as well. But yeah, like the visuals are very cool. But we actually, though we see him running a lot, what looks to be through the Speed Force, we don't see too much of what the Speed Force, maybe the center of the Speed Force, or just like standing still within the Speed Force looks like. So I'm very intrigued to see what that looks like in the film. We've seen like some shots and you can see some of the background, but not too much of it. So that's something I'm very much looking forward to in the film. There is some moments with the main Barry or the Flash and the young Barry talking just about certain things, and the main Barry is explaining his current predicament about him being stuck in time, but the young Barry seems to be just overly fascinated that some dude that looks like him has all these powers. So yeah, but it's very interesting. He has the blue lightning, so I guess it's confirmed that the suit is what gives him the yellow lightning or the orange lightning, whichever way you want to word it. So they didn't change it. I don't know why it would randomly give him yellow lightning. Maybe it's like channeling or maybe a better connection to the Speed Force. I'm assuming they'll explain it in the film. So I don't think it's going to be a head scratcher heading out of it. I'd assume they'd explain it. And then there are some more action scenes throughout the film with all the main characters, but there are some more ones of like main Barry or the two Flashes, main Barry and young Barry teaming up and doing some things there, which looks really, really cool. So yeah, just some more action scenes against Zod and his Kryptonian army in that big battle zone area. Now, the big thing from this Japanese trailer is that it differs in one major bit. And it's not that it necessarily contains scenes that we're seeing, because it was in the main trailer, but there is a Speed Force scene where, and I'm not too sure if this was a mistake or a mislead, I'm not too sure, but you see the two Barrys, the main Barry and the young Barry. It's when they're talking about, and like young Barry's, no one can die or something like that. Now in the main trailer that we got, there's nothing sus. It's all normal. There's nothing like out of the blue that's making you go, oh, that looks a bit weird. But in the Japanese trailer, you can clearly see a spike coming from, it would be, I guess, young Barry's right shoulder or like around like the right side of his back. And this is them in the Speed Force. Now, I'm not sure if we should take this as a spoiler or not, but if it is a mistake and it is a spoiler, I guess we know who a certain antagonist that we've seen in other like toys and other promotional material will be, I guess. I mean, it's not a crazy spoiler. Like, it's not, oh my God, it spoils the whole movie for us or anything like that. Like, it's not a crazy spoiler, because there was only really going to be like two options in regards to who, like, I'll just say it, Dark Flash, like who Dark Flash was going to be. But we know that Dark Flash has all these spikes. So we really only knew it was going to be one of the Flashes. And it would have been very unlikely if it was the main Flash, because why would you make him this guy? So it seemed that it was going to be the young Barry that became him. But I'm surprised this was left in there. I'm surprised no one, I don't know whose fault it is, the editor of the trailer. Someone's done the wrong shots. I'm not too sure why that was left in here. It's a bit weird, but I don't think it's that crazy of a spoiler. I'm just more interested to see how we get to that point. How does the young Barry, I guess, start growing spikes and become Dark Flash? Like, what the hell's going on there? That's what I'm very interested in, because I don't think it's too crazy of a spoiler, because as I said, it was really the two options at play, young or main Barry. And I think it just makes more sense it'd be the young Barry that becomes it. But yeah, I'm just surprised that was left in this trailer. You usually don't see that nowadays, especially with these big comic book movies. They just blatantly leave a spoiler in there. But anyway. Now, apparently there's going to be a bunch of new screenings that will be going on over the next 2 to 3 weeks or so, I've heard, around the world, as more like, hype to build. Obviously, they had the CinemaCon one, but only like a certain amount of people saw it there. These ones are going to be more around the world for certain press and everything like that. Now, I don't know if they're going to release the embargo for like full-on reviews and like that you'll get a Rotten Tomatoes score like 2 weeks before the movie comes out. I'm not too sure. Like, that's a wait and see. And also, I'm not too sure what version of the film is being played. Is it going to be the same exact one that was shown at CinemaCon, which we know was not the final version, that they intentionally left some spoilers and some stuff at the end out? Or is it going to be a more finished and finalized version that is shown in like the next 2 to 3 weeks around the world? That will be interesting to see. Depends what they're doing or what they want to show. Because I think they're still going to leave a lot of spoilers out, so nothing's spoiled before the middle of June when the actual proper movie comes out. So it might just be the same version, maybe just a bit more finished VFX. Because that was one criticism from the CinemaCon screening, was that some scenes clearly weren't done VFX-wise, but they warned that that was the case. It's not like they went in saying, this is the final version. They gave a disclaimer, like the VFX isn't done, so if there's some stuff that looks weird, that's why. So, yeah. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like on it to show support. Let me know in the comment section down below your various thoughts on all the stuff we went over in this video. Always curious to read what you guys are saying or thinking. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, and I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.